Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today we have another video. And this video is OLL, so orientation of the last layer. So after you have done F2L and solved the first two layers, you need to solve the top face, so it's going to be the yellow squares. You need to solve the whole top face with OLL. And this is around 57 algorithms, and there's also a two-step way of this, which is 10 algorithms, which we are going to be doing in this video. So, after you have done the first two layers, you need to make sure there's a yellow cross on the top. And I'm going to show you 3 scenarios right now what could possibly happen. So, this is the first example. After you have solved the first two layers, so after you've solved the first two layers, from there you need to make sure that you have the yellow cross. So, to make sure you have the yellow cross, if you don't have that, there are 3 scenarios that could possibly happen. So you might have a horizontal line. If it's vertical, you need to make sure it's horizontal to you, so just rotate the top. So if you're at this perspective right now, say for an example it's a horizontal line, just turn it once and, sorry, if it's a vertical line, make sure you just turn it once so you're working from a horizontal angle. And the first scenario is this horizontal line. Ignore these corner pieces here, so just look at the edge pieces. We have a horizontal line. And the second scenario is you could have an L shape of 2 edges right next to each other. Say for an example that this was yellow, this was a yellow L shape. So the 2 edges and they're right next to each other. And the third scenario is you just have one piece that's solved. So I'm going to show you what you can do in this position. So what you can do here to solve this, to make sure you have a cross, just ignore these pieces for now. This is the horizontal line. To make sure you have a cross, a yellow cross, what you can do is you can turn the front face clockwise, so F. And now from here, you need to do the right hand 4-move method, which I should have showed you in the beginner's method. So I recommend you to watch the beginner's video, and you'll know what this 4-move method is. So this is R, U, R prime, U prime. And you rotate the face clockwise back. And as you can see, we have the yellow cross here. Just ignore these corner pieces and you can see that we have the yellow cross. Now I'm going to show you what could possibly happen if you had the other 2 scenarios. So, now we have the L shape. We just covered the horizontal line of the edge pieces, and to solve that we did turn the front face clockwise, so F, and then you do the 4-move method which I showed you, which was R, U, R prime, U prime, and then you just rotate the face back, and after that you should have the cross. But if you're working with an L shape here, there is actually 2 things you could do. You could place this in the top left corner, like so. Place it in the top left corner. And then you can do the 4-move method, so rotate the front clockwise and do R, U, R prime, U prime. But then you would have to do it again. So, a better way in this position is, because if you have this L shape, and you do this, the 4-move method, you would have to do that twice, which slows you down in a solve. So what you can do is you can place this in the bottom right corner, this L shape, and now from here, instead of turning the front face clockwise, you can turn both of these. So these 2 layers, so you can see that we're in this position. Now what you can do from here, make sure the L shape is bottom right, so it's bottom and on the right, and now you rotate these 2 layers, and now you do the 4-move method, so R, U, R prime, U prime, and now you return them back, you return them 2 layers, and you have the cross this way as well. And there's one more scenario, and that is if you do not have an L shape or a horizontal line. You just have you don't have those. You don't have the L shape or the horizontal line. That's basically you have no pieces solved, and I'm going to show you an example of that one as well. So, as I said, there are 3 scenarios: a horizontal line, an L shape on the edges when they're right next to each other, so like so, if they were on these 2 pieces, and anything else. So basically, if there's nothing solved, like so you can see there's no horizontal line because these aren't yellow. Just ignore the centerpiece. And there's no L shape because there are no yellow edges. They're just yellow corner pieces. So what we can do now is we can do the same thing as you would do with the horizontal line. So you turn the front clockwise, so F, and then you do R, U, R prime, U prime, and then you'd rotate the face back. Or you could just do this 3 times, but instead you actually turn out with an L shape. So after you have nothing solved, and then you do that method what I just showed you, then you should have an L shape. Then you place that in the bottom right corner, and now, as I showed you a minute ago, we can do this method here where we rotate the face twice, and then we do R, U, R prime, U prime, and return these 2 faces back, and we have the cross. And now once you have a cross, I'm going to show you how to do OLL and solve this whole yellow face. So, after you have your yellow cross, what you can do is we can completely solve the rest of these pieces. So you can see that this one's solved as yellow. So what I mean by solved is orientation of the last layer means that we want this top face to be completely yellow. So this is solved, and these ones aren't. So, the first scenario is if one of the pieces has yellow on the top. So what you want to do in this position is you want to put it on the front. So just watch where this is. This can either be here or here. So if it goes here, that means this face has to be yellow. And if it goes here, this face has to be yellow. So when this face is at the front, so this is the only corner that's yellow, this scenario is when one face is yellow. So, you can see here, this one is yellow. Then the one next to it has to be yellow on the front face. And if it's here, the one next to it has to be yellow on the front face. So in this position, this would not be right, because this would have to be yellow. Yellow would have to be on the front face whilst this is facing up. This would be right because yellow's on the front face. Now what you do from here is you do the left variation because we're going to be working with this yellow face. And now this algorithm is going to solve the rest of this cube. So what we're going to do from here is we're going to be doing L prime, U prime, L, U prime, and now what we do from here is we do L prime, and now we do this, U2, and we return back with L. And now, as you can see, this whole face has been solved, and this is what orientation of the last layer is. This whole yellow face has been solved. Now I'm going to give you the other scenario when the yellow face is here and this yellow face is facing up. So, this is the other scenario, and in this position you can see that we have the yellow facing forwards on this right side. In the last position, when this yellow corner was facing upwards, so this is the only yellow corner, this is the only one facing up as well. So what I mean by yellow corner is the one that's facing up and the one that's solved for us to do orientation of the last layer. So since this is facing up, you need yellow facing here in this position, but it's not. So we're going to rotate it once more, and it's still on the front. So if you rotate it this way, it would be on the back. So it can either be here or here. And this way is solved. This is correct because yellow is on the front. So we can do the right variation. It's going to be R, U, R prime, and U again. Now from here, what we're going to do is we're going to do R, U2, and from here, we're just going to do R prime. And this has been solved. Orientation of the last layer has solved this face. Now we're going to do the next case of scenarios. So, this is the next scenario, and this is when none of the yellow faces on the corners are facing up. So as you can see here, none of these have yellow facing up. So, this is actually one of a couple of scenarios, and this is the first one where these two yellow faces and these two yellow faces are coming out of the same way. So, as you can see here, these faces are on the same face and they're going this way, and these ones are going this way. So, what you can do for this scenario is rotate the front clockwise, so F and R. So this is basically the 4-move method that really helps you throughout the whole of cubing. So R, U, R prime, U prime, and you need to do this 3 times. So, and rotate it back, and this has been solved. And now I'm going to show you the next scenario. So, this is the next scenario, and it's still the same one where there's no yellow corners facing up. So this one is when these yellow faces are coming towards, and this yellow face and this yellow face are going outwards that way. Instead of the last one, they were going this way as well. So this way and this way. This time, these ones are going this way and that way. So the ones that are going that way, what you need to do is you need to rotate to make sure that the ones that are going that way, make sure they're on the right. And now from here, what you need to do is R. And now you do U2. And now from here, you do R2. And then you do U. R2, U. And then from here, you do another R2. And now from here, you do U2. And you do R, and this has been solved. So, the last scenario, when none of the corners that had yellow faces, so the last scenario had no yellow corners facing up, so it was just a yellow cross with no yellow corners facing up. Same with this one, but on the last one, the yellow faces were coming towards and they were going that way. This time they were coming towards and they were going outwards. So there are 2 different algorithms. So now I'm going to show you the next algorithm. So the next perspective is when 2 of the yellow corners are diagonal to each other. So they could either be in this perspective or this perspective. So one of the yellow corners has to be bottom right corner. If this yellow corner was bottom right, we would need to see the yellow face here and the yellow face here, but we can't. So we're going to check the other one. And we can see the yellow faces. So we can see the yellow face here and yellow face here. So the algorithm to do here is right side down. So you actually need to be in this perspective here. So you need to do right side down. And from here you do U, right side back up. And now from here, we're going to do D. Now from here, we're just going to do right side down. And then from here, we're going to do U. Right side back up. And now we're going to do D. So now from here, this whole face has been solved. Now I'm going to go and show you the next scenario. So, this is the first perspective of when we have 2 corners that have the yellow facing up. So, And this is one of two. So this is when the yellow corners are facing away from each other. So you can see this one is going this way and this one is going this way. They're facing away from each other. And what you can do in this position is make sure that this big block is on the right. And now from here we want to go to the white perspective. And what you do from here is you want to do the left side down. And now what you want to do from here is U. And now you want to do the right side down and U. And now do the same thing but upwards. And as we can see, this whole yellow face has been solved. And we're going to be doing one more with two yellow corners facing up right next to each other again. This is the second scenario of when two of these yellow corners are facing up and when they're right next to each other. So, the last one was when the yellow faces were on the side and they were facing outwards. This time, they're right next to each other and they're facing this way, so they're going that way. So what you want to do, you want them to face towards you. And now what you do from here is you don't go from the Y perspective, you just stay where you are. And you do R2. And now from here you do D. Then you do R prime, U2. And you do R, D prime, and you do R prime, U2, and just like this, we just have some of the pieces that need to be solved, but the whole face has been completed. So, hopefully you've enjoyed this video of two-look orientation of the last layer, or OLL, and the next video should be PLL. Then I will show you in that next video how to solve the rest of the cube, so the edges and the corner pieces. And hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Please remember to like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you soon.